All right.
Just as a little side note, my whole podcasting journey and Bigfooting journey started with two individuals, one from Grenada, Mississippi,
Wow.
and the other from Gulf Shores, Alabama, I believe. And their names are Bear and Kumbo. So I get
Bigfoot
you
outlaws,
guys.
baby.
Yeah, I get you guys entirely.
Spent a lot of time at Grenada Lake.
I actually have an uncle we call Bear. So
Uh-oh.
Look out.
I love it. God, Nathan.
And
I mean,
you
guys,
know, one of my best volleyball friends was Taterbug.
Tater bug.
Bug and Buck Rogers and the Possum Head Man.
I can't wait till part 2 of this podcast till we do,
Amazing.
because there's just so much more to get to. I mean, I feel like Tim could just go on like a really good 30-minute rant right here. So go ahead, Nathan.
We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by intelligences greater than man's.
Did the CIA write Wind of Change by the Scorpions?
As humans busied themselves about the various concerns, they were scrutinized and studied.
Dr. Loeb, what percentage chance do you give it that you have indeed uncovered extraterrestrial or non-human technology?
With infinite complacence, people went about their affairs, yet across an immense ethereal gulf, intellects vast and unsympathetic drew their plans against us.
prior to your abduction, did you believe in UFOs or any sort of alien life form?
All things unexplained.
So some of that, I think, sir, we'll save for closed session.
The following is from our guest appearance on the Calling All Beings podcast. Find them on YouTube or wherever you podcast at Calling All Beings.
Calling all beings.
So basically, you know, since Tim put out an interesting thought experiment, we've talked about it. What if all the his question's even better than mine? What if all the UAP headlines were Bigfoot headlines that we've seen since 2017 New York Times article?
Yeah, what would happen? I would probably get paid a lot more to do my podcast.
Whoever.
Seeing
I don't. So here's the difference. I don't think it would ever happen. But if we're just speculating that it did, I think instead of having all these people on board and hanging on the government's every word, you know, what comes next, what information, it would be more along the lines of like, yeah, they're lying to us again. Bigfoot's not real. I don't think enough people would be on board with it. I don't think people would believe it. I think people would just say it's a distraction from the real news and the real stuff going on. If it was a situation where it was proven without a doubt, it wasn't just, you know, the slow leak, but like, here's one in captivity for everyone to look at. I think people would start freaking out. I think people would want to move into the cities instead of out of them. I think camping would take on a whole new realm. I think it would be an entirely different atmosphere in your national parks. The financial repercussions for so many industries, you know, that might be a reason right there just for them not to ever do that. The government is tied to too many corporations that rely on natural resources. And if you've got something out there that might possibly be a type of human or even an animal, either way, once you admit that it's there, well, now we got to shut everything down. Now we got to do population studies. Now we got to go out and see what their environment is, what their habitat is. If there's not enough of them, which there's obviously not. They need to be protected. So how much space does a Bigfoot get? You know, quite a bit more than a spotted owl. And we've seen how much problem that caused. So yeah, I think a total catastrophic event would be a very big possibility in that situation.
And how do you control where they go, their migration pattern? Hey, you guys have to stay right here in Salt Fork State Park. Like, don't go beyond that boundary right there. So the LBL, that's you can't.
Yeah, how do they control where the elephants go in Africa? You know,
Right.
they don't.
Right. So, anyway, Nathan, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'll just be quick about it. I mean, like, there's a veneer in our reality has a thin veneer to it, right? And I'm kind of coming back to something CJ said, and I resonate with as a parent too. You know, like it's just we all know that there's sort of deeper layers to the world, right? That there are deeper levels of what's happening. We all know that our governments, I mean, name one, has probably done something really unsettling and unsavory in the name of keeping their citizenry safe. Or at least that was a justification that they use, and sometimes they do things, for terrible reasons, not even for good ones. So I think we recognize that that's true, and as a result, maybe we're better left just kind of living a little bit in ignorance to some degree. You know, like it's better to like not know all of the dark things that maybe that happen, because what is our culpability, right? What is our connection and our responsibility to that? When we know the truth there, and then like things start unraveling, like the narrative that we've all like constructed and shared together, like it starts unraveling pretty quickly. And I don't think we live in a world now where we can actually like do any of that very safely. Like everything is too interconnected. I mean, just look what happened when the supply chain stuff like had a disaster. I mean, it was just cascading effects that ripple throughout all of our society. So I mean, a lot of folks that just say, well, I want all the truth and I want it now. I just think I totally get it. I mean, I want the truth too. We like knowing what the truth is, but I think we also like these governments have a responsibility for billions of people. I mean, if the truth could create, millions of catastrophes, like, is it worth it? I mean, probably not. I don't think so.
I've had people flat out tell me they don't want to know, like regarding this topic. Specifically like the UAP stuff, not related to ghosts and Bigfoot, because that isn't being taken seriously as well as this. But I've had people tell me I don't want to know. So I'm okay.
I tell you what, DJ.
Yes, sir.
Let me borrow some of those shades, and tomorrow I put them on, and I see some alien skulls underneath some skin, and then my television says, obey, go shopping. Get 8 hours of sleep. I'm probably out then too, so I forgot about that part.
Are you Roddy Piper?
I came here to chew some bubble gum and whoop some butt, y'all, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
I'm gonna tell you what, when we do the joint cab and all things unexplained Bigfoot outing, I will bring you a brand new pair of these glasses, okay?
And some Zag nuts. I'll bring the Zag nuts.
Okay, brother. Okay, so let's see. Now we have Deb's topic, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm going to make it as quick as I can for everyone to answer this. But we've talked a little bit about the topic I wanted to talk about was, the right of the government to essentially decide for us whether or not something scary is happening. And I personally don't think that it is their right to decide that. I don't think that they should be the ones that make those decisions, just like I wouldn't expect the government to keep us all out of the water because of sharks, or keep us all out of certain areas because of earthquakes, or, I don't think that actually is their right. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If you think there is someone that you would accept that decision making from, essentially, who do you think could make that decision for us?
Miss CJ.
Oh, there's one person I would trust, and I don't think they'd ever give him the authority, but no, not you, Tim. Stop yourself right now. You just go ahead and stop yourself. Tim. We have had on our show astrophysicist Dr. Charles Liu. He works for the Hayden Planetarium. He's brilliant. He's written lots of books. He's so philosophical. He thinks deeply about everything. And if he made decisions in my life every day, I would accept them fully. If he told me I was ready to know more, I'd be ready to know more. So he's a good friend of the show. I'm going to say Dr. Charles Liu.
And that's my hometown planetarium, Hayden Planetarium. It's in New York.
I'm dying to go.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. We went there in elementary school. Go ahead, Mr. Smitty, please.
I don't know who I'd be willing to accept answers from, because I really don't trust the government to tell us more than what they think we can handle. So there's a lot of doubt in my mind as to what we talked about earlier. They're telling us, and how that's connected to other things. I don't know really of any one person I could say, yes, definitely this is person that tells me this. I trust them fully. I'd have to see things more with my eyes than I would anyone else. I guess the only person I would trust to do that would be me. So I hope that doesn't come off as arrogant, but I just kind of a see it, believe it kind of thing.
More of a reason for our Bigfoot outing, Smitty.
That's exactly right. I'm ready.
All right, brother. All right, Mr. Tim, sir. Dr. Mounts.
Wow. I mean, that's such a tough question, but I'll just say this. So I recently read The Stand by Stephen King. Didn't recently come out, but it very well could have, because to read The Stand post 2020, okay, it's almost like everything that happened was at the beginning of The Stand, y'all. And except it kept going, right? So next thing you know, there was no government. There were no institutions, right? And it takes me back to a quote that I've heard a few times recently. Hard times make hard men. Hard men make good times. Good times make soft men. Soft men make hard times. And I think that in those situations, you got to be able to take care of yourself. And one more quote about that. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. You got to be able to handle your own business and be able to take care of you and your own. And that's what I'm going to do.
Also, great movie with Charles Bronson called Hard Times.
You have a gift for not directly answering the questions, Jim. Like such a gift.
I appreciate that.
All right, Matt.
I'd like to add on to that. Let the good times roll.
He's quoting the Cars and Rick Ocasek. I love it.
I'm going to go in a complete different direction with my answer, just to piss everybody off.
Oh, you'd never. I can't.
I think the government does have the right to do it. Why? Because it's our job to elect people to give them that right, because we trust that they'll do the right thing. Why? Because we're all idiots. We're all dumb. We're all stupid. And the whole aloe vera and toilet paper fiascos just proves that. Every time there's a cold front coming in Oklahoma, you can bet within 24 hours, all the bottled water, milk, and hamburger meat are gone out of the grocery stores. I don't know if it's like that everywhere else, but that's how it is here. So yeah, I don't think they should tell us anything. If I was in control of the government, y'all wouldn't even know what UFOs were. I would just play stupid the entire time. I wouldn't tell anybody anything because people can't handle the information. Plain and simple. We're not talking about people like us who are following the subject and researching it, investigating it, and trying to keep level heads and understand everything. We're talking about the people you run into at Walmart at 3:00 in the morning knowing all the information. What are they going to do? How are they going to react? That's what they got to think about. The majority of the population aren't level-headed individuals. Plain and simple. That's the scary fact of it. So I trust the government. Oh, that's funny. I can't even say it without laughing.
Yeah, I know, because I feel like your level of your conspiracy theory. I mean, I feel like you and Dr. Mouse have a budding friendship. That's
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I can tell you one thing: the 3 a.m. Walmart crowd is going to Huddle House after they leave Walmart. That's what they're doing.
In Mississippi, if it has a snowflake fall, we go and get milk and bread. Some reason people like milk and bread sandwiches. I don't know what the deal is.
Milk sandwiches. But now listen, seriously, you walk into a Huddle House or Waffle House, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., that place is packed. It's going to be slammed. I don't know why.
all right.
Just as a little side note, my whole podcasting journey and Bigfooting journey started with two individuals, one from Grenada, Mississippi,
Wow.
and the other from Gulf Shores, Alabama, I believe. And their names are Bear and Kumbo. So I get
Bigfoot
you
outlaws,
guys.
baby.
Yeah, I get you guys entirely.
Spent a lot of time at Grenada Lake.
I actually have an uncle we call Bear. So
Uh-oh.
Look out.
I love it, God, Nathan.
And
I mean,
you
guys,
know,
look,
one of my best volleyball friends was Taterbug.
Tater bug.
Bug and Buck Rogers and the Possum Head Man.
I can't wait till part 2 of this podcast till we do,
Amazing.
because there's just so much more to get to. I mean, I feel like Tim could just go on like a really good 30-minute rant right here. So go ahead, Nathan.
I was going to say Keanu Reeves. I just think that guy's a good dude. I'd listen to him. Tell us like it's straight. Give us the straight story. But Matt, I mean, I'm kind of with Matt on this, right? I think, unfortunately, just the way the world is, like we have to have structures that we have, and it'd be irresponsible of them to just dump some knowledge on us that would result in really bad behavior and a cascading series of events that they can't control. And I hate that, right? I hate that's the case, but I think it's true. I think if we were in their shoes, we probably would do the same, because we would understand the weight of that responsibility.
Yeah, first of all, if I had to pick somebody, I guess it would be Nathan to make the decision. No, all kidding aside, I mean, I don't know who that person would be, because I just don't know. But what I do know is basically, and again, it's going to take off of what Nathan said, is that it's very difficult when you're being charged with these responsibilities. And I'll just use, for example, there was a lot of hot and heavy UAP talk around when Charles Q. Brown took over the Air Force, which was, right around 2019. I think it was right after the George Floyd incident. He took over, and he was charged with, after the pullout of Afghanistan, of remaking the Air Force from flying in these permissive environments like Iraq and Afghanistan to being able to fight Russia and China that are completely opposite and have robust integrated air defense plus bombers, fighters, and everything else that these other countries didn't. So while people would criticize CQ Brown for his probably his stance on UAPs, they had to look at, hey, I've got to remake the Air Force. Like, we are not prepared to fight. This is not Iraq. This is not Afghanistan. It's not permissive. So same thing goes for, and you can just keep going up levels from county level, town level, county level, state level, federal government. Now you have somebody that's charged with trying to figure out what the American public can digest and what might happen as a result of that. And it's not a job that I would want. I certainly don't think I'm qualified to know what that is. And I think sometimes they get it wrong, very wrong. Sometimes they get it right. And as far as this topic, we're going to find out just how wrong or right they got it after Congress digs their teeth into this, because they're basically saying, look, we were elected, you weren't, and therefore we represent the American people, and you're going to tell us. And eventually, I think, unlike that drill at Skinwalker Ranch, I think they'll be able to penetrate some of it. So, all right, who goes after me?
CJ, bring it home.
It's me. Deb, that was a great question.
Yes.
Thanks for asking that. Did you have thoughts on it, by the way, Deb, before we move on?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that just as a thought experiment, just to throw it out there, what if we continue down this path of the government has the right to keep it a secret, and then 50 UFOs land in our sky. Just something to think about. Like, what was that the good decision then? Like, so I'm just throwing that out there to think about. Or like 50 Bigfoot come and hang out and around the White House. Just something to think about. Okay. Okay. Go ahead, CJ.
Okay.
It's very complex.
So my topic, and I'll keep it super short, is an event that happened in Las Vegas a couple of months ago. And I'm sure that you guys all know about it and probably even talked about it on your show, but we haven't had a chance to talk about it on our show yet. And this is one thing that actually had friends of mine that don't normally reach out to me about my podcast reaching out saying, what do you think about this? Are you guys going to dig in deeper? And Tim, I know you put together a clip. Is that something that we want to play real quick? And then I'll ask my question.
It's a scene straight out of the X-Files. A family in Las Vegas insisting something is out there after allegedly having a close encounter of the third kind.
I swear to God, this is not a joke.
One witness calling 911 after they say an object fell out of the sky and landed in their backyard.
They're like 9 foot, 10 foot tall. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes, they have big eyes.
The mysterious object that fell from the sky, even the officers apparently saw that. The green glow of the alleged UFO is seen on this newly released body camera footage.
I have butterflies, bro. Everyone saw a shooting star, then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
So when that 911 call came in, less than an hour later, police were ready to believe it.
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
Because I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard? Or?
But after a brief investigation of the yard, officers closed the case as unfounded.
If those 9 foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
According to former intelligence officer David Grush, an alien crash landing isn't too far-fetched. Grush recently turned over documents to Congress claiming the U.S. government has a vast collection of vehicles that have non-human origin. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Okay, so my question's simple. Real or fake? What's your thought?
Smitty.
Smitty,
Brother Smitty, you're on mute.
Wasn't this the case also where it showed the outline of the craft in the back?
Yes.
I don't know. It's pretty convincing, especially you see the footage from his body camera. I've never seen a falling star look like that. I'll put it that way. I can say this, if that would have happened in Mississippi, there would have been gunfire involved if there had been a 9 foot creature in someone's backyard, more than likely. But I don't know. It's a hard thing to really say. But it's kind of like I was reading something earlier about UFOs. Kind of like, who you call when this happens. If you call the police, they're not equipped to handle it. You call some other government entity, they're not really going to handle it. I mean, if you do see something like this, you're pretty much on your own. Because if people do come out, most of the time, 9 times out of 10, they're probably going to think that you have lost your mind. So there is some evidence, I think, to back that this is real, especially the outline, the body footage camera or body camera footage and those types of things. It's a strange happening. We'll put it that way.
2 things for you, Smitty. We saw gunfire when I was going through flight school at Little Rock. We used to get shot at all the time doing low level. And be like, What are these dudes doing out in the country? They're shooting at C-130s from Little Rock. But yeah, it happened fairly regularly that we got shot at. Second of all, regarding that, it's interesting that you point that out because coming up on the show soon is Professor Keith Taylor. Dr. Keith Taylor was a retired NYPD, SWAT, and other aspects. He was all over NYPD for his entire career. He's a professor at John Jay College, and he wants to set up basically a training program that can go state, county, local, and it will train officers what to do to deal with a UAP call, a Bigfoot call, or a paranormal call, because he feels like that agencies are not equipping their law enforcement officers, as you just mentioned. They don't know what to do, and they deserve to have that training. So we're going to have 2 cops on with us as co-hosts, in addition to Dr. Taylor. So that's coming up here pretty soon.
Pretty amazing. Like you said, though, I mean, who do you call? Because
they're not trained. It's not fair to them.
I mean, that would be like, calling the police to come in my history class and teach, early American history. They're not trained for that. I'm not trained to go.
I think they could do that.
Oh, shut up, Tim.
Dr. Mounts.
We'll have this out later. But, I tell the kids all the time in class, not everybody's equipped for everything. I've got 3 college degrees, but I can't take somebody's gallbladder out. I'm not trained that way. And so when you do see these things and nobody takes you seriously, it's disheartening. And I think so many people, instead of talking about it, they just shut down because nobody's taking them seriously. And I think that's led to a lot of incidents being, just brought in instead of actually told to outward to the public.
Hey, so there's Dr. Taylor. It happens to be in the chat right now. So, Dr. Taylor, we were just talking about you. Smitty brought up this topic, and that we're going to have you on and try to figure out what kind of a program you would come up with to get police officers trained so they know how to deal with UAPs, Bigfoot, or paranormal. So, thank you, Dr. Taylor. Actually, we're going to talk scheduling with you because I think we're going to bring a UK counterterrorism police officer on with you. And so we may need to do daytime. Keith, your ears must be burning. Thank you, Money Nathan. So, Dr. Mounts, can you go ahead, sir?
Yeah, when you said Dr. Taylor's here, I thought Travis is here, but I expected him to say, get the rockets, y'all. We'll get some UFOs up there, y'all. But
we got PhDs galore around here, man. We got you.
Crazy.
We got Dr.
It's like,
Taylor.
wow, Travis Taylor, Dr. Travis jumped in here. But interestingly, if you live on Navajo land, you do have somebody to call. The Navajo
That's
Rangers.
right. The paranormal call Jonathan Dover and Stan Millbrook. Come on, man.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So in addition to the Ghostbusters, if you're on Navajo land, you got somebody you can call. And funny you should say that, Smitty, about if they were in Alabama and Mississippi. And I agree they'd be in big trouble. But if you actually watch this full video, these dudes are packing heat in the video. Like, these dudes came to this UFO crash heavy. Like, they were equipped, son, to deal with some trouble. Now, why they chose not to deal with it, I don't know. But you watch that full video, and you see these guys are strapped. They're ready for trouble. So you get the feeling that whatever it was chose the wrong yard there in Vegas. But I will say this incident, and by the way, CJ, I'm getting my best non-answer ready here. This incident reminded me, believe it or not, of the Travis Walton story. Here's this group of folks. They see a bright light in the sky. They say, what was this? Let's go investigate. Now, imagine what would have happened back then had there been cell phones. All right. And Travis Walton and them went and investigated. And I can't help but wonder if we were really close to a similar situation. If we believe the Travis Walton story, we believe that this group of friends encountered something similar and co-workers. And they went to investigate, and what they saw shocked them. They saw Travis Walton knocked to the ground, and they got out of there. And when they came back, he was gone. And he was gone for days, and they were almost charged with murder. When, of course, this is 2023, and this would have all been captured on cell phone footage. And what would have the country have made of that? And were we close to seeing some sort of modern-day Travis Walton situation play out in Las Vegas, Nevada? I don't know, but that's what it reminded me of.
Matt.
My answer is not nearly as much fun. I believe we see a meteorite that contained copper, which is why it glows green. I've seen them myself numerous times. I believe you had a little bit of alien hysteria because of all the UFO talk in the media and the news. I think the same thing happened after War of the Worlds came out on the radio. Everybody was seeing aliens in their backyard. I don't really think this was a hoax. I just think it was some scared people because they saw a shooting star and didn't know what it was. They just immediately went to UFO and got freaked out.
Money.
But I could be wrong.
Well, that's unlikely that you're wrong, man.
I know.
That's stretching things a little bit.
I just wanted to make people feel better.
Okay. I think it's a good take. I mean, it's a fair take for sure. And I think just as you pointed out, the coincidental timing of it was really strange. You had the Grush story breaking like I think the same day or the day, but I mean it was like
it's just after, like a day
back
later.
to back, right? Yeah, a day later.
Yeah,
and
Grush happened first, and then this happened. Yep.
Exactly, and this story got all the media attention. So, yeah, just kind of odd. I did think it was. I leaned toward the hoax initially, but now I'm not so sure, just because all the family was seemingly involved in the police response and the sincerity that you see on that body cam footage. It's strange, very strange. But this is like the phenomena, right? It's like phenomenon 101. You know, there's always something like that's a little bit weird about what's going on. There's an eyewitness experience. There's also like a meteorological moment or whatnot that can discount that experience, and we have to sort of weigh all these different factors to come to a conclusion. It's frustrating.
I think I'm about to win a waffle fries from Dr. Mounts with this answer. But I think that, and maybe even like the grilled chicken Chick-fil-A sandwich. But I first of all, I don't really think about it. I saw it and I just was not impressed with it. It looked like a ruse to me. It looked like something that may have been used. I'm going to go a little bit conspiracy theorist here. Something to counter-program Grush's disclosure. And because I had people, for example, I have a friend, Navy SEAL buddy of mine, and the Grush story was not on the news channel that he frequents, and you can just kind of take a guess at what that one might be. And then all of a sudden, he does contact me and literally sends me the video of this and says, "Hey, what do you think of this?" So I think that one was meant to get out and possibly to counter-program Grush's revelations and his disclosures. And I really don't put anything in it. There have been hundreds of thousands of UFO sightings all over the world that we've heard. And we've heard police recordings up to and including Calvin Parker and what's that guy's name? Hickson, I think is his last name. So we've heard, many of these things. And so, okay, is just another one. And it may have even been put out there and timed to sort of take some of the edge off of news agencies picking up on Grush's story. Who goes after me? Debs.
I'm going to throw another conspiracy theory out there. How to normalize UFOs and aliens interacting with humanity by throwing out more stories like that to the point where people are like, oh, it's just another one. Right? So you may never know which ones are the real ones. And I do think that family did look awfully freaked out. I think it was also a meteorite, but there could have been more than one object. But my point is, I feel like that's a tactic too. Like, that's how you normalize the topic. You just keep throwing stories like that out there until everyone's like, okay, it's another day with an alien.
I say give her a large waffle fries. So,
I would be remiss if I didn't point out that Avi Loeb has just finished a search for a meteorite that crashed off Papua New Guinea that he says could be proof of alien technology. So I do not think that meteorite and UFO are mutually exclusive.
Okay.
Great point. Great point.
Yep. I'll tell you what, guys. This is probably this is 2.5 hours. Probably one of the longer shows we've ever done, but it was a hell of a lot of fun, and we had a lot of laughs. So with that, I say we go with Cabby goodbyes. Matt.
Yeah, it's been fun. You guys are awesome. Hey, man, It's past my bedtime. All right, I'm trying to keep it short and to the point. So bye, y'all.
I'm gonna get you tucked in. Leslie,
I respect
tuck him
that.
in. Okay, Debs.
I'm just grateful that we have each other, like all the people in the community to deal with these things, because there's just like it's mind-boggling sometimes, and there's plenty of people who are just going about their day not worrying about it, and to me that's mind-boggling too, by the way. So I just appreciate everyone coming to talk to us about that, and that we're doing this. Thank you.
Thank you, Debs. And Dr. Taylor, I'll call you tomorrow. But Nathan, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, amen to that. I know we started this podcast with a cage match intention, but I feel like we left as friends, and it really makes me happy. You guys are terrific and good sports for being with us for this long on this evening. And like DJ said, we look forward to the next one. I think it's going to be a wonderful conversation, and I have a feeling we'll have a lot more to talk about. That this isn't going away, so look forward to that.
No doubt. It's funny. I was just telling Meredith For Real, another podcaster whom we made friends with. She came on here. Then we had her co-host. And then when the Grush thing came out, she had me on her show. And I said, there's few things in life that I enjoy more than making new friends. They're just, because I have a wife, but I don't have children, the blessing that y'all have. And so one of the things that it sort of makes me the most happy is making new friends. And I think that's what we've done. I was able to start it off with Tim, Dr. Mounts the other night, and now with you guys. So thank you so much. It's an honor that you would come and share your time with us and your thoughts and your intellect. Thank you for what you guys are doing as well in the community. Tim writing books for kids is just such a noble pursuit. And we look forward to the next time, okay? All right, so for Matt, Nathan, Debs, CJ, Smitty, Dr. Mounts, this is DJ saying peace out, one love. We'll see you down the road, and as always, we're wondering what's up around the bend.
Thanks. Like. Share. Follow, comment, subscribe, support. What's your hot take on Travis Taylor?
I've got an exclusive for you guys if you want it about the Alaska.
We do.
Okay.
More at BigfootUFO.com.
All things unexplained.
So some of that, I think, sir, will save for closed session.